So here we are once again, another week. Welcome to Just a Word. Welcome to another of our Shabbat teachings, everyone. We are here every week at this time. This week, we are going to look at the importance of the resurrection of the dead. Okay. But before I get started, I have a few housekeeping things I need to do. Oh boy, always forgetting to do this. Always forgetting to pin this thing. Okay. Yeah, let me post this. And let me get this link. As I said, there are a few housekeeping things I need to do. So before we get started, let me just do them. And we need to go live on Just a Word Radio. And we are live on Just a Word Radio. Welcome everyone for listening. This is our weekly Shabbat teaching. Chazak Aliyahu Yasharal here. And today we're going to be looking at the resurrection of the dead. This is a very often ignored aspect of our salvation. Resurrection of the dead is a very core part of our salvation, core part of our belief. But it is often ignored because the bully religion called Christianity has taken over everything and has directed us in its path. So much so that most believers ignore or forget the core doctrines that were once delivered to the saints. And so this prosperity gospel, let me get this thing recorded here. The prosperity gospel has replaced the truth of scriptures. And so most people don't pay any attention to the resurrection of the dead. They pay attention to the resurrection of the Messiah, say, hey, the resurrection of the Messiah has given us hope and all of that. And it's true through his resurrection and we can be saved, etc. But not much give or pay attention to our resurrection, our hope of resurrection from the dead, because the Messiah is the firstborn among many brethren, and he's the firstborn because he has preeminence over everything that is good, because all things were made for him and all things were made because of him, and so he had to have preeminence in everything. So he is the firstborn, and we, his brethren, have also a lively hope of being resurrected from the dead. Now, had we been paying attention to this, had Christianity been paying attention to this, so many people would not have sold out their souls to go back to normal, because they would have been willing to die. But as people always mock the Christians and say everyone wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die. But the early believers were anything but. They were eager to die. They were eager to suffer. And we today, we are not even willing to suffer anything. But the early believers, they were willing to suffer and to die because of this hope. Because this hope was so entrenched in their doctrines, as the Apostle Charles says, to him to die is to gain. Yeah? And he lived because of the believers, in order to help the believers. So those early believers, They didn't fear death as we do today. They wouldn't be taking this injection in their arms to go back to normal, or because they were scared, or because they were afraid of death. No, they had no such fear. They were willing to die because they had this strong belief, this core belief in resurrection from the dead, that the Most High was able. And this is true faith. True faith is not believing that you're going to get a new car, or that you're going to this, or you're going to get this, or you're going to get that. True faith is believing in that which you cannot see and which has not been proven and which no one has come back and told you that it has happened. Because you may have heard of people who they had nothing and they believed and the Most High brought something. You may have heard of that, but you have never heard someone come back from the dead and tell you their experience. So true faith is to believe on the promises of the Most High for the resurrection of the dead, that which you cannot see and that which no man, apart from the account that we heard from the Messiah, no man has come back to you and give you an account and said, hey, you know, I got resurrected from the dead. And no, that is true faith. And remember, the word says, without faith, it is impossible to please Allah. Yes? So here is true faith. Let us begin with the resurrection of the dead. Let's go to the prophecies, some prophecies of the resurrection of the dead. And we'll start at Yeshayahu 26:19. Isaiah 26:19. Read, please.
Okay. Thy dead men shall live, together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, ye that dwell in the dust, for thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead.
This is what they believed in. The dead men shall live. Together with my dead body shall they arise. Together with the dead body of the Messiah, through belief in the Messiah, shall they arise. All right? The earth shall cast out the dead. This is their belief. 2 Ezra 2:31. Read, please, 31.
Remember thy children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth and shew mercy unto them, for I am merciful, said Yahuwah Almighty.
All right. The children that sleep, he shall show mercy upon them. He shall bring them out of the sides of the earth. This is their hope. This is their hope, and this should be our hope. This is the hope of the followers of the way, because we're going to see that it is a core belief of the followers of the way. Very, very core. All right. So we're going to look at an account. We're going to look at an account that shows that a strong belief in the resurrection of the dead gives us strength to resist. Had the Christians had this strong belief in the resurrection of the dead, they would not be lining up to take this thing. I'm telling you. 2 Maccabees 7. Second Maccabees 7. Now, this account, it is a very long account, but I'm going to split it up just to highlight the points. This was a woman and her 7 children who were taken and compelled to eat pork. And we're going to see how their belief, because this is similar, very, very, it's almost the same thing as them taking this polluted vax. Because we're telling these Christians what this thing entails and they do not care whether or not it is polluted. So we're going to see that the depths that these people would go not to transgress the law of the Most High. We're going to see another thing, how important it is to follow, for our people of old, to follow the laws of the Most High. They would give their life in order to guard the commandments. Very important. How many of us are willing to give our lives to guard the commandments? Read verse 1, please.
It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourge and whips.
All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to see what happened to each one and what they said. Where is it again? When the first was dead. Yeah, here's what the second one says, verse 9.
And when he was at the last gasp, he said, Thou like a fury takest us out of his presence life.
No. Take time, Rain, and read it carefully, please. Start over 9.
And when he was at the last gasp, he said, Thou like a fury takest us out of his present life.
Out of this present life.
This present life, but the King of the world shall rise us up, who have died for his laws, unto everlasting life.
All right, so at his last gasp, so he was willing to die rather than to eat the pork. And what did he say? But the King of the world shall raise us up, resurrection of the dead, who have died for his laws, unto everlasting life. This is the hope that we have at this particular time. This is the hope that we should have and what we should be looking for. No matter what, I am not going to take this thing, because the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws, who have died to be in obedience to him unto everlasting life. It is the greatest honor at this time. No matter what sins we have, the greatest honor we have is to die in honor for the word of the Most High, keeping the words of the Most High. All right, so if the Christians had this knowledge of the resurrection of the dead and had this faith in the resurrection of the dead, then the world would not be like this. We're going to give a couple more accounts of the others. Verse 12 says,
Insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, because that he nothing regarded the pains.
And I didn't want to show you the wickedness that they did. They put out his tongue, they cut out their tongues, they took the ear off their head, the skin off their flesh, some wickedness they did. And these people were still willing. Yeah? All right. And what did he say? Verse 11.
And said courageously, These I had from heaven, and for his laws I despise them, and from him I hope to receive them again.
A hope again for resurrection of the dead. Now let's see the fourth man. Verse 14, read 14.
So when he was ready to die, he said thus, It is good, being put to death by men, to look for hope from Allure, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life.
So he knew that the unrighteous will have no resurrection to life. He will have resurrection, but he will have a resurrection to damnation. So lively was their hope in the resurrection of the dead that they were willing comfortably to die. This is what is missing from us today. When we hear about we might be killed, people say, oh boy. This is the hope that we need to have, people, in order to have faith, in order to be brave and to be strong. And let's see what the fifth says. No, let me see. The sixth. Or was it no matter? Let me see if she said anything about resurrection for the dead. No. No, that should be it. No. Okay, that should be it. Can go and read that for yourself. Second Maccabees 7. All right. Now, Yahusha being the firstborn from the dead, it is the resurrection of the dead that has declared him to be the son of Alua. Romans 1, 3-4. Resurrection of the dead declared him. Read, please.
Concerning his son Yahushua Mashiach, our master, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to the son of Alua with power according to the spirit of holiness by the resurrection from the dead.
Are you having problems seeing it, Wayne?
Where? Verse 14?
And declared, you said declared the son of Alua. It's declared to be.
You know what? Some of those letters are very blue and pale. So yes, sometimes I might miss those. Very, very pale on my end.
Oh. And declared to be the son of Alua with power according to the spirit of holiness by the resurrection of the dead. It is through the resurrection of the dead that the Messiah is declared to be the son of Alua with power according to the spirit of holiness. All right? And we know, as followers of the way, we hope, we have a strong hope, a lively hope in the resurrection of the dead. Acts 24, 14-15. This is the Apostle Shaul telling, was it Felix, exactly what we believe in as followers of the way, exactly what he believed in, exactly what the disciples believed in. Verse 14, read from 14, please.
But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the Alua of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets.
And it is by believing all things that are written in the law and in the prophets, which is why those 7 brothers we just spoke about were willing to die. They were willing to die for the law, plus the hope of the resurrection of the dead. Read verse 15, please.
And have hope toward Alua, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust.
All right, so that is the hope that they have. And that is the same hope that these guys who died had. They believe in the law and the prophets, but they have a hope that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. Because remember, they told Antiochus that he shall not be resurrected to life. He shall partake of the resurrection of the unjust. So our hope is to the resurrection of the just. That is our hope. So that is what our belief in is, and that is our core belief, and that is what we should be leaning on today, no matter what. I lose my life in this world, I'll be resurrected to the resurrection of the just. All right? And this doctrine of the resurrection of the dead was a very divisive doctrine. Even today, I spoke about it when did I speak about it? On the 5th day, I spoke about it, about how this guy who was speaking, laughing and saying people speak about life after death and they have never come back from, they have never died. So it is a very contentious and a mocking topic. People mock it all the while because they do not have the hope that we have. All right? So it causes a lots of division. among believers and also non-believers. Acts 17, 18 to 20. Go ahead, please.
Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of Stoics encountered him, and some said, "What will this babbler say?" Others some, "He seemeth to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yahusha and the resurrection."
Continue in verse 19. Strange because he preached Yahusha and the resurrection.
19.
Yeah.
And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, "May we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is."
All right. So this was taking place in Greece, right? There's Greece. That's what we are at the time. They had all these different religions and gods coming together. And the Greeks always wanted to know something new. So they always want to find out which new thing is this. Yeah. That's what they crave, knowledge. Verse 19.
19. And they
No,
took him,
20. Sorry.
20, yeah,
Sorry,
20.
my bad.
20. For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know therefore what these things mean.
All right. So, where was I?
20.
Yeah. They'll bring us certain strange things to our ears. So the resurrection of the dead was strange to them. 29 to 34. No. Yeah. Read now, please.
For as much then as we are the offspring of Alua, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold, or silver, or stone, graven by art and man's device.
Continue.
And the times of this ignorance Alua winked at, but now commanded all men everywhere to repent, because he had appointed a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he had ordained, whereof he had given assurance unto all men, in that he had raised him from the dead.
All right. So from people hear this raised from the dead, everybody, that stirs something in everyone, because we say it's a point of division. Verse 32.
And when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked, and others said, "We will hear thee again of this matter."
Verse 33.
So Paul departed from among them.
All right. So he did his job, spoke to them about the truth and the resurrection of the dead. So it's a point of division, and unbelievers hardly want to hear anything about the resurrection of the dead. Matthew 22, 22 to 33. So it was so divisive that even among the house of Judah at the time, even among the house of Judah, 23, yeah, there was a sect called the Sadducees, a rival of the sect called the Sadducees. The main difference between the Pharisees and the Sadducees was that the Sadducees did not believe in the resurrection of the dead, and the Pharisees did. And the Sadducees did not believe in angels and some other thing. So there was always this division between them and the Pharisees, and between them and the Messiah concerning resurrection of the dead. Verse 23.
The same day came to him the Sadducees, which say that there is no resurrection, and asked him, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die, having no children, his brother shall marry his wife, and raise up seed unto his brother. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother. Likewise, the second also, and the third unto the seventh. And last of all, the woman died also. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the seven? For they all had her.
All right, so they were trying to trap the Messiah now with this question. Whose wife will it be in the resurrection? And let's hear his answer.
Yahusha answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of Alua. For in the resurrection, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of Alua in heaven.
All right. In the resurrection, this is a mystery. This now is a mystery that I have been trying to solve and I cannot yet figure it out. Hopefully by the time we're done, we'll see if it can be figured out. This is a mystery as to what happens in the 1,000-year reign among those who are resurrected and what will happen after. So I want you to pay attention and let's see if we can solve this mystery. You'll see the mystery as it goes. Because it says they neither marry, they are as the angels of Alua in heaven. Continue, verse 31.
But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by Alua, saying, I am Yahuwah of Abraham, and and Alua of Isaac, and Alua of Jacob. Alua is not the Alua of the dead, but of the living.
All right, so even though we see them as dead, the Most High sees their spirit and they are always living before him. All right? And when the multitude heard this, they were astonished at his doctrine. So we see this division between the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Acts 23:6-9. Acts 23. Read, please.
But when Paul perceived that the one part were Sadducees and the other Pharisees, he carried out in the council, men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee, of the hope and resurrection of the dead, I am called in question.
All right, so Shaul wanted to put the two sides against each other. Smartly put them against each other because he knew that the Pharisees would support resurrection of the dead and the Sadducees would be against it. Verse 7.
And when he had so said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided.
Continue.
For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both.
Oh, neither angel nor spirit. Okay, verse 9.
And verse 9, and there arose a great cry, and the scribes that were of the Pharisees part arose and strove, saying, we find no evil in this man, but if a spirit or an angel had spoken to him, let us not fight against Alua.
So that was the difference now. The Pharisees were on his side. They found nothing wrong with him because they had thought, and here's the importance of this. Just like today, the Christians believe that Shaul was against what the Pharisees thought, that Shaul was against the law, etc. It was the same claim that was made back in those days. And when Shaul declared what he believed in, the Pharisees realized that, hey, he believes the same thing that we do. So we don't see any fault. We don't have any fault with him. All right? But the Sadducees now continue to find fault with him. Yeah?
You're sad.
Yeah, and it's the same thing Christians are doing today. The way of the Sadducees. All right. So, because of the resurrection of the dead, the Messiah is the ruler of the living and the dead. Romans 14, 7 to 12. This is very important, meaning there is no difference between the dead and the living in his eyes. Just as how the Most High, every spirit is alive. Likewise, after the resurrection of the dead, every spirit is alive before the Messiah. What did I say? Romans 14, what?
12.
7 to 12. Oh. Read, please.
For none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself. For whether we live unto Yahuwah, and whether we die unto Yahuwah. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are Yahuwah's.
All right. Whether we live or die, we still belong unto him. Continue.
For to this end a Mashiach both died, and rose, and revived, that he might be Alwas both of the dead and living.
No, he might be ruler or master or ruler. Ruler is a better word.
Ruler both of the dead and living.
Yeah. Because he shall be the king. When he returns, the dead in Messiah shall rise, and they shall serve him and rule with him. So he's the ruler of both of the living and the dead. This word here, Lord, has many meanings, and you have to understand the context to get the true meaning, to get the true explanation of what it means in English, because this was not the original word that was there. All right. So he is the master. He rose and revived that he might be master both of the dead and the living. So both and the living and the dead rise to him. So when he returns, the resurrection of the dead shall also rise and become living once again. Verse 10. No. No, I don't need that. No, I don't need that. 1 Thessalonians 5:10. Verse from 9 to 10, please.
Okay. For Allah hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Master Yahushua Mashiach, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him.
In other words, when you are in Messiah, it makes no difference whether you are dead or you are living. Because to him, whether you're dead or living, you are living to him. Right, Brother Wayne?
Indeed.
Who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. So if we are dead in Messiah, we are living with him, only to be manifest upon his return. Very important that we know that.
And that
the
is
most important. Yeah, go ahead.
That's why we pray that we die in righteousness.
Yes. Because if not, there will be no resurrection to life. There will be resurrection to damnation, and we don't want that. How could we be wasting so many years trying to live in righteousness and then be resurrected to damnation? And then, therefore, we go now and we look at the resurrection of life versus the resurrection of damnation. John 5:24 to 29. This is why we need to deny ourselves, right, bro?
Yes, sir, indeed. That is where everything begins.
Yep. Go ahead.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word and believeth not him that sent me.
Nope, 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 nope. Start
Believeth
again.
on
Yes.
him that sent me, hath everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life.
You see that? Whether we live or die, we live unto him. When we die, we pass from death unto life in his eyes. Read it again, bro.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word and believeth on him that sent me hath everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life.
Whoa, boy. This is such a powerful verse.
So basically, as long as we are in the Messiah, it's just life.
Yes.
Yeah.
But notice he says something here. He that believeth on him that sent me.
Yep.
And heareth my word. So it's the faith of the Messiah and obedience to the commands of the Father. Always, both of them. Right?
Yep.
Hear the words of the Messiah. And when we say hear the words, it means follow him and believe on him that sent me. When we say believe, it means obey. Verse 25.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of Allah, and they that hear shall live.
Oh, my sheep hear my voice. So the sheep that hear his voice, that are dead, they shall, that hear shall do what?
Live.
Oh. Go to 26.
For as the Father had life in him, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself.
All power has been given me in heaven and the earth. Right? And the Father has put all things under his feet. So that includes the power to give life, to pronounce life and death. Yeah? Verse 27.
And hath given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man.
Because he is the Son of Man, he can execute judgment on man. Verse 28.
Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in the which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice.
Verse 29.
And shall come forth they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation.
All right. So this is another thing now. Resurrection of life divided from the resurrection of damnation. It appears here when he's saying this as if this shall happen at the same time, but that is not so. We're going to show resurrection of life happens before the resurrection of damnation. All right? A whole lot of tricky things to this resurrection of the dead that it's kind of a struggle to put the timeline together. When will this happen? When will that happen? What will happen this? So I hope you follow carefully so you can help to decipher this, this teaching here today. All right, so we are Luke 14, 12 to 14. Let me see. Luke 14. Let me see if this is supposed to be here. Yeah. Read from verse 12, please.
Then said he also to him that bade him, when thou makest a dinner or a supper, call not thy friends, nor thy brethren, neither thy kinsmen, nor thy rich neighbors, lest they also bid thee again, and recompense be made thee.
All right, so when you're doing good, this is saying when you're doing good to the poor, you do it not expecting anything in return. And your recompense will most likely may not be in this life. This is what it's saying here. But what you're doing, you're storing up a reward for yourself on the day of the resurrection of the dead. Verse 13.
But when thou makest a feast, call the poor, the maimed, the lame, the blind.
Yes.
Thou shalt be blessed, for they cannot recompense thee, for thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just.
Whoa. Thou shalt be recompensed when?
At the resurrection of the just.
Okay. And when will this resurrection take place? At the last day. The last day means when the age comes to an end. When the age comes to an end, there will be the resurrection of the just, and the new age will begin. Resurrection of the just, John 11, 23 to 26. Read, please.
23. Yahusha said unto her, thy brother shall rise again.
All right, this is what they were speaking about Lazarus. This was before you raised Lazarus. 24.
Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day.
At the when?
Last day.
That is when the resurrection will take place. Verse 25.
Yahusha said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live.
All right. The raising of Lazarus was a similitude, an example, proof that the Messiah had power in the end to raise people from the dead. This was an example, a sample of what is coming on the last day when the dead are resurrected. Verse 26.
And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this?
All right. So when he says never die, it doesn't mean you're not going to die the physical death. But as we said, when we die the physical death, we are still living to him. So even though we are there, bones in the grave, our spirits in Sheol, in the place of the dead, we are still alive to him. So we are here mourning the dead, and the dead in Messiah are still alive to him until the day, the last day, when they will be raised up once again. John 6, 40 and 44. So the most important thing, Wayne, is to do what? To die in Messiah.
That is it.
That's it.
Even if we don't know everything or as much as we wish to know, let us seek to die in him, because that is where everything, it really is.
And if we do not deny self, then we cannot even start to think that we are dying in Messiah, right?
Indeed.
Verse 40.
And this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day.
At the when?
Last day.
That is when the end of this age, that is when the dead in Messiah shall rise. And notice he says, everyone that which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life. You're saying, go ahead.
Would it be like there is a continuation? Because he said, I will raise him up at the last day, right? So
yeah,
this whole life would be a continuation, going to the end, because there will be no standstill, right?
Yeah.
And continue on with a new life.
Yeah.
Okay.
44, I think I said. Read 44.
No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day.
Raise them up when?
At the last day.
Last day, the end of the age. That's when the dead in Messiah shall rise. All right. All right. So we're gonna touch down now on how the Messiah shows us about his return. All right, we're gonna touch on things that shows us the we're gonna touch a little on the Messiah, focusing on his return, so we get an idea of how the resurrection of the dead will take place. Matthew 13, 40 to 43. Read, please.
As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity.
All right. So the pre-tribulation rapture people are saying that they are going to be, the righteous are going to be caught up and taken to heaven. But when you look at the parable of the tares, it tells you that those who do iniquity and those that offend will be the ones who will be taken. All right, verse 41. Read it again.
The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity.
Next verse.
And shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
No, man, this wrong. This is wrong, Wayne, man. This is not right. They shall take them and bring them to heaven. Isn't this so? Isn't this what? Isn't this what it should be?
I guess that's what they're saying.
The gospel, according to the Christians, tells us that the Messiah is going to come and take them to heaven. This is saying those who will be gathered out shall be cast into a furnace of fire. Total opposite of what Christianity teaches. I'm telling you that this religion is so wicked. It's just bringing people to destruction with the lies upon lies, twisted Satan's religion. Why won't people study and understand and come out of this wickedness? So after he gathers out those who are to be burnt and casts them in the furnace, what happens next in verse 43?
43. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear.
All right, so after you take out those that offend and which do iniquity, you cast them into a furnace of fire. Then the righteous that is left in the kingdom of their Father will shine forth as the sun. And this is very important again, shine forth as the sun. This is often used to describe what those who are resurrected from the dead will be. They are likened to stars and to the sun, and the light from them as is shining from the sun. Okay? You're going to see the importance of that, hopefully, as we go along. So tie that in now with the gathering of the elect to see the resurrection of the dead. Matthew 24, 29 to 31. Read, please.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken.
All right. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, because remember, we're just talking about the pre-tribulation rapture. But we're going to show you what happens after the tribulation of those days and see that the Messiah will be coming after the tribulation, not before the tribulation. All right? So let's see what's going to be happening immediately after the tribulation. Verse 30.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great splendor.
All right, so here, this is what happens when immediately after the tribulation. The Messiah is not coming before the tribulation, Christians. He's coming immediately after the tribulation. So you call yourself Christians, you're not going through tribulations. You're going through the tribulation right now, you don't even know it. All right? So
also if, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So if there is a right? And if that is the time that they are saying it will happen, what will happen after then? Because it's a pre-tribulation, right? And after the tribulation, so what would happen after? I'm just saying because they are saying that.
Yeah, I know. What they have a thing that says they are going to be taken away just because they are called Christians, just because they confess the name Jesus. They are going to be taken away to heaven, and the sinners and the Jews will be left, and something like they'll be left to go through tribulation. If they overcome the tribulation, then they too will be saved, while they Christians are sitting pretty.
But
and then there's another one now with after the tribulation that says some of them say Jesus will be coming back 2 times. So he'll be coming back for Christians, and then after the tribulation, now he'll be coming back for the Jews and the other believer, the other people, sinners, etc., who have overcome the tribulation. Something like that.
But that is worse than a blatant wickedness.
Yeah.
Because we see that there were many men that they live by faith and they die in faith, not receiving that which was promised, right? And we see in the end, it was to be that when the Most High is waiting on us, so he could do one thing together with us.
Yes.
So why are they saying he's going to come 2 times? And secondly, if he come and get them, who shall judge the rest of the people? He will be gone, right?
Yeah.
So who will judge the rest of the people? And the next thing is, we know that the Messiah will bring everything back to his Father when he conquers death, death is the last enemy. Yeah. So when he put death under manners and get everything else and everyone with himself, bring everything back to his Father. That is it. So I don't understand the 2 times. It is just a blatant lie. That's it. It's just crazy.
You see, when they start telling one lie, it's like life, you know. When they start telling one lie, you have to just keep telling lies for the rest of the time until some of the lies get so ridiculous.
When you look in the scripture for yourself, it is just not adding up one bit.
No.
It is just a wickedness from those people.
Yes.
And our sisters and brothers are just so stubborn, you know. They believe in those doctrines for so long. Yeah. And it is scary because we know that the Most High will send a great delusion. So we just have to say, like, wow.
Yeah, so because he's sending a great delusion, you have to make sure you test everything.
Test everything.
So that you're not in a delusion. But they refuse to test anything. You come to them with anything they don't want to hear. Not realizing that is fertile ground for the delusion. Yep. Refusing to hear and think you know is the last thing you want to do. Verse 31. Go ahead.
It also shows that they don't even understand the power of the Most High. Why should he make 2 trips? Why?
Because They have to find a way out for themselves. Remember, it's a gospel that comes from the Gentiles. And the Gentiles are the wicked people upon this earth. So they have to find a way to console themselves that they are going to escape the wrath of Allah.
I think I
So
just see what happened. I think I just
Yes.
see exactly what is going on.
Yeah, go ahead.
They know that if they make the correction, everything about their religion is over. It's done.
Yes.
It is done.
Yes.
So they have to keep on telling lies to keep it afloat.
Yes.
And if they once come out and make that correction, it's over.
Yes.
And they can afford to let their thing go over. That is it.
One little correction and then everything else is going to take its time and crumble.
Yep. That is it.
So they have to keep up the lies no matter what. And so that's why they form things they call Christian apologetics. These are groups of people who just go around and find things to defend their doctrine, to make sure that nothing can be changed from their doctrine. Verse 31.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
All right. So he's going to gather his elect. All right. 1 Thessalonians 4:13-17. Go ahead, please.
But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope.
Okay. Them which are asleep means them which are dead. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we who have the dead among us, who are mourning, yeah, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. Verse 14.
For if we believe that Yahusha died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahusha will Allah bring with him.
All right, on the last day, right?
Yeah.
Verse 15.
For this we say unto you by the word of Yahuwah, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of Yahuwah shall not prevent them which are asleep.
All right, which unto the coming of the Master Yahusha shall not prevent them which are asleep. Verse 16.
For Yahuwah himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice.
It's not Yahuwah, it's the Master, it's Yahusha.
Oh, okay. When the Master himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Allah, and the dead in a Mashiach shall rise first.
All right, resurrection of the dead. Then
we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Master in the air. I'm going to repeat. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Master in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Master.
Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. This is what the Christians use to say it's pre-tribulation rapture. But I believe this is speaking about the 144,000, which I hope one day I might do in a separate teaching. All right? So, you can't speak about baptism, about resurrection of the dead, and you don't speak about baptism. Baptism and resurrection of the dead are inseparable. And have you noticed everything that we go to throughout the past few months has been linked to baptism? Baptism and resurrection of the dead. Romans 6, verse 3-13. Read, please.
Know ye not that so many of us, as were baptized into Yahushua HaMashiach, were baptized into his death?
Nope, that's not a statement, it's a question. Know ye not
Okay.
that so many of us as were baptized into Yahushua Mashiach were baptized into his death? This is a question, and a very good question, because a lot of us don't know that when we are baptized, we are buried, we are dead in Messiah, and rise in newness of life, rise in the resurrection of the dead when we come up out of that water. All right, very important. The link between baptism, which is your burial, and coming up out of the water, which is your resurrection. Verse 4.
Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism into death, that like as a Mashiach was raised up from the dead by the splendor of the Father, even so we also should walk in the newness of life.
Verse 5.
For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall be also in the likeness of his resurrection.
So the baptism is a down payment, is a deposit on our resurrection. Yeah? Baptism is the deposit on our resurrection. Verse 6.
One question here in Romans 6, verse 6. So the Most High, he make a deposit and we also make a deposit.
What do you mean? The Messiah?
Yeah, so he is our down payment. I mean, the Spirit is our down payment.
Yes.
And we also make a down payment to the baptism.
Yes.
Okay. 7.
And it's the Holy Spirit working, one Holy Spirit working in all.
Yeah.
6.
6. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin.
All right, so that is why when you're baptized, you stay away from sin. You bury the old man and the new man rises. New man does not serve sin. Verse 7.
For he that is dead is freed from sin.
All right. If you're physically dead, you're freed from sin. If you bury sin when you go under, then you are freed from sin. Verse 8.
Now, if we be dead in a Mashiach, we believe that we shall also live with him.
Continue.
Knowing that a Mashiach, being raised from the dead, died no more. Death had no more dominion over him.
10.
For in that he died unto sin once, but in that he liveth unto Allure.
Continue.
Likewise, reckon ye also yourself to be dead indeed unto sin, but alive unto Allure through Yahushua HaMashiach, our Master.
That is the role of baptism. Verse 12.
Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that he should obey it in the lust thereof.
All right. So after you're baptized, don't let sin reign in your body. But we're just showing the connection between baptism and the resurrection of the dead. So let's give an account of Shaul's account of the resurrection of the dead. 1 Corinthians 15, 12 to 55. This should give us great insight on the resurrection of the dead. What is it? 15, 12 to 55. Read, please.
Now, if a Mashiach be preached that he rose from the dead, how say some among you that there is no resurrection of the dead?
So we see it's a long-standing conversation, long-standing argument here over the resurrection of the dead. Some people are always saying that there is no resurrection of the dead. Verse 13.
But if there be no resurrection of the dead, then is a Mashiach not risen?
Yeah, if there's no resurrection of the dead, then Messiah is not risen. And if he's not risen, verse 14.
And if a Mashiach be not risen, then is our preaching vain, and your faith is also vain.
All right, no resurrection of the dead. Everything that we believe in falls flat. Verse 15.
Yea, and we are found false witness of Alua, because we have testified of Alua that he raised up a Mashiach, whom he raised not up, if so be that the dead rise not.
All right, verse 16.
For it is the dead rise not, for if the dead rise not, then is not a Mashiach raised.
Continue.
And if a Mashiach be not raised, your faith is vain, ye are yet in your sin.
All right, that's how important the resurrection of the dead is. If the Messiah is not raised, our faith is in vain. We are still
And
dead.
also that would mean that we are still under the law.
Yes. Very important point there, Rain. Very, very important point. Therefore, we will need now to crave and look for a sacrificial system.
See,
and all of that.
We see one lie can go 1,000,000 miles because you cannot make any correction until you stop the lie. That is it.
Yes. Verse 18.
Then they also which are fallen asleep in a Mashiach are perished.
So the hope is for those who fall asleep in Messiah. If Messiah did not rise, then what hope do these people who are dead? Well, there's no hope for them, and there's no hope for us living now. We might as well just go out like most people and just seek after the things of the world and seek to enjoy this world as much as possible, because there's nothing after this world. If Messiah did not rise.
And
continue.
We see now more why so many people believe that if one died, that's just it. It's over.
Yeah. Because they want to, as we say in Jamaica, bore up hole in sin. They want to just do whatever they want to do.
Exactly. So it's like, so why should I do all these things? Because when I die, and that's it. It is just like Esau.
Mm-hmm.
He was told, okay, give me a birthright and I give you some of this pottage. And he think about it. He said, well, I'm going to die anyway. So take it. So it is he didn't believe,
Yeah.
The same spirit is going on right here today.
It's good. Same spirit. Yep. Anything I want to do, I do it, because guess what? You just die.
Yep.
Yeah. Continue.
Then they also which are fallen asleep in a Mashiach are perished. If in this life only we have hope in a Mashiach, we are of all men most miserable.
Continue.
But now is a Mashiach risen from the dead and become the first fruit of them that slept.
All right, the first fruit, the forerunner, first man, the example. Continue.
For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead.
This is talking about Adam, verse 22.
For as in Adam all die, even so in a Mashiach shall all be made alive.
All right, this is the reason for the resurrection of the dead. 23.
But every man in his own order, a Mashiach the first fruit, afterward they that are a Mashiachs at his coming.
All right, so those who are in Messiah at his coming, they too will rise.
That is it.
Yeah, that's the hope, and that's the hope that we have. That is why we have to strive to be like him and forget about the things of this world and the struggles and the cares of this life. You're saying something?
Yeah, I was just saying that is why also when we find ourselves like from our heart believing in that which we are saying that we want to die in righteousness, we want to serve and obey until death. That is saying that we are expecting, even though we don't know what it is, we are expecting something whenever that time comes. But we not base our life, base our faith, base our trusting in him and the things we can see.
All
It
right.
must be unto the end.
Right. Verse 24.
24. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom of Aloha, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power.
All right. This delivering up of the kingdom unto Alua. This is going to be the second resurrection. This is be around the time of the white throne judgment. All right. Because it says he must rule until he puts all his enemies under his feet. Verse 25. Read 25.
For he must reign till he had put all enemies under his feet.
All right. This is another thing now. This points us now to the 1,000-year reign. He will be reigning for 1,000 years. And we're telling people that there will still be sin on this earth during the 1,000 years. He must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet. All enemies will not yet be put under his feet until after the 1,000-year reign. Because for the 1,000-year reign, Satan will be bound for 1,000 years, and the nations will be taught the way of righteousness. Then Satan will be released. All right? To tempt the nations, the Gentiles who have been learning for this time. And then Satan will be taken out and cast in the lake of fire. That is when the Messiah has finally put all enemies under his feet. Right, bro?
Yes, and also let us not use that as a cushion, like, oh, there will be some more time to play with. Let us use this time now to perfect ourselves to be holy, because that time it will be difficult, more difficult for us to say, well, I could do this. Let's use now to bring ourselves to where the Most High want us, to stick to obeying the Most High in all things. So our life will be just looking, smelling, tasting like obedient, basically.
Yeah, there's no cushion, because if you understand what's going to happen in the wrath at the last day, very few people will be left on this earth. It tells you he's going to make a man scarcer than what again? He's going to leave one in a city. What was it again? I don't remember. I think it's one of the other books that are not in scripture. It tells you how the destruction that is going to be here. Not all men will be destroyed, but most will be destroyed. Most of the sinners will be destroyed. There will be a wipeout. But people will be here to replenish the earth, and his people will rule the rest of the earth from Yasharal, from the headquarters in Yasharal, wherever that is.
A next good example would be Noah and the ark.
Yeah.
You see, it was just them left behind. Everyone else was wiped out.
Yeah, but we also see that the giants were also, they remained. The giants found a way to remain on this earth.
Okay.
Because in Genesis 6, I think it was about 3, says there were giants on the earth in those days and also after that. And then we have record in the scriptures of the giants, Nephilims and Rephaims, that were after the flood. We have Goliath was a giant. We have Og of Bashan was one of the last great giants as well. So it's the same similitude. The destruction shall be so great, but a remnant shall be left. And then throughout the 1,000 years, that remnant will breed up again. And so that is where Satan will come in and try to lead those astray. All right, so where are we now?
26.
Yeah.
The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death.
All right. And we know that this is the second resurrection. When it says death and hell were cast into the lake of fire, that is when death will be destroyed. And we're going to read that later on. Verse 27.
For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he said all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is expected, which did put all things under him.
He is accepted.
Accepted. So
That's why
we're
it's
seeing
important. Yeah.
where the Most High is really saying to you everything else except Him, and
Yeah.
that will debunk the ones who say the Son and the Father is one.
Yes.
One here, make it be very clear that we don't mix up the word Him. He said except,
Yeah. The
except.
son and the father are one, but they are not the same person.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they are one in spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even as we should be one in spirit with the Messiah and with the Father as well. But many of us are not. Yeah, and that is what we strive to do, to be one. As he said in John 17, that they may be one, even as you and I are one. Yeah. So the Most High put everything under the Messiah's feet because the powers of darkness are so powerful. If the Most High did anything less, the Messiah would not be able to defeat the forces of the enemy. A lot of people don't understand how powerful wicked evil is. Powerful. Evil has the whole earth right now on its knees. Evil has the world in darkness, powerless. Yes? That's how powerful evil is. And the Messiah has to be given all the power in order to defeat the forces of the enemy. That's why all things shall be put under him. Yeah. Verse 28.
And also, before we go to verse 28,
yeah,
to top off what you were just saying, how powerful, the force of darkness is. We know that Michael is a powerful angel, right? And in the scripture, it says Michael and other angels fought the enemy, fought Satan.
Yeah. Yes.
So it took more than Michael to really fight him. So
yes,
we should not take it lightly or think that, it's a walkover. It has to be the spirit to deal with all those dark forces. So we have to, again, deny this flesh because we can't do it.
Yep.
Back in church days, they teach about trample Satan, bind him up. That's a lie. That is a lie. Even Michael at one point said, the most I rebuke him.
Yes.
He did not say it on his own. He said, the most I rebuke you. So,
and as we always like to say, bro, there's nowhere in scripture where we see anyone reviling Satan.
Exactly.
No one cursing Satan and in scripture.
So it is so clear by now that the whole church thing was and is a lie.
Yep.
And we just have to give thanks to the Most High, thanks to the Most High that He snatched us at a time like this.
Yep. Verse 28.
28. And when all things shall be subdued unto Him, then shall the Son also Himself be subjected unto Him that put all things under Him, that Alua may be all in all.
So the Most High can't be subjected to Himself, yeah? The Son shall be subject unto Him. When He has done His thing and done His job and has brought everything under the Father's feet, then the Son shall subject Himself to the Father. All right?
That is it.
Verse 29.
29. Else what shall they do which are baptized for the dead? If the dead rise not at all, why are they then baptized for the dead?
As we had said, I think you had said it here once, that people have misunderstood this statement, baptized for the dead, and then the Mormons in particular, and are baptizing people for the dead. So they come and baptize you for somebody who is dead, something like that. I don't know where these people get these things from. If you look at this in context, he had said it before. We are 29. Let's go up.
Is it 15? Let me see.
Yeah, 13.
13. But if there be, read it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the exact verse.
I think is it 15?
Yes, verse 16 to 17.
For if the dead rise not, then is not a Mashiach raised. And if a Mashiach be not raised, your faith is vain. Ye are yet in your sins.
Go to 18.
18. Then they also which are fallen asleep in a Mashiach are perished.
This is what they're talking about. When they say baptized for the dead, those who are baptized for the dead, it means those who are baptized and are in Messiah, sleeping. This is what it's talking about here in 29. Is what will they do which are baptized for the dead? Means they are baptized and they are dead, waiting.
Okay.
Yeah?
Wow.
So it's something to do with the translation or whatever that led us to this. Let me see if there are other manuscripts or translations. If only the dead are not raised, that immerse for the dead, baptism for the dead. These translators didn't get it right. See, there are people being baptized for them. So there is another. There are several scriptures that we see that most of these people.
And that one says baptized on their behalf.
Yes. Almost all of them get it wrong. That's why they have this. Oh, where am I? That's why they have this foolishness of baptizing people for the dead. Baptized on behalf of the dead.
But it don't even sound proper, by the way, much more to be proper.
Yes.
How are you going to baptize for the dead? I mean, I just don't get it.
Baptized on behalf of the dead. All of them get it wrong. All of them get it wrong.
So
anyway.
But even just to look at it, if they're saying baptize on behalf of the dead, so basically the one who dead, you're going to be baptized on that person's behalf.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Everything is just not. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Verse 30.
And why stand we in jeopardy every hour?
Continue.
I protest by your rejoicing which I have in a Mashiach, the Messiah, or I'm sorry, as I protest by your rejoicing which is in a Mashiach, Yahusha or a Master, I die daily.
Continue.
If after the manner of men I have fought with beasts at Ephesus, what advantage it me? If the dead rise not, let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die.
All right, hold on. This is where I want to get. 35.
35. But some man will say, how are the dead raised up? And with what body do they come?
Go ahead.
Okay. Thou fool, that which thou sowest is not quickened except it die.
Mm-hmm.
And that which thou sowest not that body that shall be, but bare grain. It may chance of wheat or of some other grain.
Yeah, continue.
But Allah giveth it a body as it had pleased him, and to every seed his own body.
Continue.
All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds.
Mm-hmm.
There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the splendor of the celestial is one, and the splendor of the terrestrial is another. There is one splendor of the sun, and another splendor of the moon, and another splendor of the stars. For one star differeth from another star in splendor.
Continue.
So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption. It is sown in corruption. It is raised in incorruption.
All right. An incorruptible body. Incorruptible body is raised after the resurrection of the dead. 43.
43. It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in splendor. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in power.
Yeah.
Continue.
Continue.
It is sown in It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body.
All right. So this is why I said we're trying to figure out what the person who is resurrected from the dead, what will that person look like or be like? This is one of the things that I'm trying to figure out. Will he look like a normal human being? Doesn't seem so. What will he look like? Will he be operating as a normal human being in the kingdom? Those are some questions that come to mind. Yeah?
What I'm seeing based on those examples that was thrown there,
Yeah.
even about the seed, what I'm picking up from that, if you sow a seed, that seed will be broken down.
Yeah.
No more being a seed. But when
Yeah.
it is now sprung up, it will be something different from the seed, however it comes from the seed. So basically, the same thing with us. It is not what was killed as like this body. It will be a different body or different flesh, whatever it is, the most I will prepare for us. And we can see with all those examples, every one of those things are the different type of body. So he's the one that will prepare that body for us.
Okay. All right, go to 40, continue 45.
And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last man was made a quickening spirit.
Last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Verse 46.
How be it that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual. The first man is of the earth, earthly. The second man is the master, is Yahuwah from heaven.
Is the master from heaven.
Or from heaven. So this word here, earthly, okay, it's correct. Okay.
Yeah. As is
the earthy, such are they also that are earthy. And as is the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly.
So what it's saying that when the Messiah returns, we will be like him. And I think was it the Apostle Shaul that said it? We do not know what he will be like, but when I think it was John. But when he returns, we shall be like him. I think that was the consensus among the apostles. Continue.
No, I'm just saying, and that would make sense why those examples was shown, because if we die looking like this, so the seed was used when the seed was sown, that which was sown was broken down and something new spring up.
Yeah, but
so when we with us,
when we resurrect, we are going to look exactly like how we look now.
Okay.
Before, and then we are going to change. We're gonna show you something pertaining to that. Because it says that in order for there to be proof of resurrection of the dead, if you die looking like Wayne and you come back looking like somebody else, no one would know that it is Wayne, and it would not prove that the Most High has done anything powerful. Right, bro?
Yeah.
So if you rise, if Wayne dies and somebody comes looking different from Wayne and say, hey, I am Wayne, you're going to say, oh, get out of here.
That's not me.
Yeah. Verse 49.
49. And as we have borne the image of the earthly, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly.
All right, very important now. Flesh and blood, 50.
Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Alua, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption.
So we have to be transformed before entering the kingdom.
Yep.
51.
Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed.
Continue.
In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trump shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed.
All right. So this sounds as if they're gonna change immediately. Yeah.
As we see in the twinkling of an eye.
Yeah. The dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. But as I said before, there's going to be a slight gap between the time. We're going to see it in 2nd Baruch that tells us the gap and why it happened and when it will happen. Verse 53.
For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory?
All right. So those who die in Messiah will be raised incorruptible. All right. But then the sinners will still be here throughout the 1,000-year reign until death is finally overcome. All right. So what I'm speaking about is the first resurrection and the second resurrection. All right. You have to know that there is a first resurrection and there's a second. First resurrection, Revelation 20, verse 1 to 10. Read, please.
21, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
All right, this is the 1,000-year reign of the Messiah when Satan will be bound. Verse 3.
And caused...
Oops, my bad, sorry. Verse 3.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed a little season.
Loosed a little season to do what? To deceive the nations again.
Again.
Okay. Verse 4.
Verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahusha, and for the word of Allah, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Mashiach 1,000 years.
So here we see, I was speaking about resurrection for the dead and we being afraid to die and all of that. Those that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Allah. Those that were killed, they lived and reigned with Messiah 1,000 years. These are they who have eternal life. Yeah? And we are afraid to reject the mark of the beast, are we? Verse 5.
But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
This is the what?
The first resurrection.
All right. The first resurrection is the resurrection of the just, the resurrection of the righteous. All right?
Yep.
But the rest of the dead, the unrighteous ones, did not live until after the 1,000 years. They did not rise up to the resurrection of damnation until after the 1,000 years was up, until the time for the white throne judgment.
So that would be because those would already be damned, right?
Yeah.
So it would not be a reason for them to raise again, because there would not be a second chance after you die.
No, those who rise when the Messiah comes are those who have inherited in eternal life.
Yeah.
The rest of them have to wait until the books were opened and another book. a serious thing, you know. It's very, very serious. Because right now, we who are listening here, we have all of this in our hands. Right now, as we are listening to this, we can inherit eternal life. Because we're hearing the word of truth. It's just for us to deny self and to apply it to our lives. Or
That
we
is it.
can be the dead that did not live again until it's time for sentencing to the lake of fire.
That is it.
It's our choice.
These scriptures here, they are placed here for us as a reminder, as a lesson, so we can learn not to fall in those same trends that other people fall in or fell in.
Yeah.
Like you said it, man, we who are alive right now, we have hope.
Yes.
It is just for us to like for real, just deny ourselves.
Yes.
Deny ourselves and walk in the step of the Messiah. Just hold on. Place
Mhm.
our eyes on the prize. It doesn't matter how difficult or painful it is. If it was done in the past, it can be done. People were beheaded, sawed in two, stoned to death.
Yeah.
They did not look back because they know that if they look back, they'll be killed and get nothing. If they keep going forward, they'll be killed and still receive life afterwards. So we can do it. Let's just really turn our eyes away from this wicked world.
Yep.
Seek the Most High in all things. Just seeking Him, getting ourselves to perfection, and get ready and just stay ready. When we hear that trumpet sound, we shall smile.
All praises due to the Most High. Thank you, bro. Verse 6, hit it.
Blessed and holy is he that had part in the first resurrection, and such the second death had no power, but they shall be priests of Alua and of Amashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
Uh-huh.
That's a great promise there.
Yes.
So when
Yeah.
we leave here today, every one of us supposed to be so charged up because now we are seeing some things we cannot say, hey, I did not know. I didn't know. Now we are seeing them. Now we are hearing these things. And as long as we believe, we will put that which we believe in action and move forward.
Yep. Blessed and Kodesh is he that hath part in the first resurrection. And such the second death hath no power. This second death is the white throne judgment when we are condemned to the lake of fire. So we die once and we live forever. Those who are righteous. Okay? But those who are unrighteous are going to die twice. And the second death is going to be worse than the first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it's up to us. But it says, but they shall be priests of Alua and of Messiah. And where did we see this? Let's go to Isaiah 61. It shows us that those in the kingdom will be priests. So I am kind of trying to visualize the believer about 5. Read from verse 5 to 6, please. This is speaking about the kingdom, the future kingdom. This is the gospel according to Isaiah. Verses 5 to 6. Read, please.
And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But ye shall be named the priests of Yahuwah. Men shall call you the ministers of our Alua. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves.
All
Scroll
right,
up.
so this is the promise for them to be priests. And this is referring to these here. They shall be priests of Alua and of Messiah, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. So the gospel is about the 1,000-year reign of the Messiah. Let's continue now. The defeat of Hasatan, verse 7.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is a, I'm sorry, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Continue.
And they went up to the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city, and fire came down from Alua out of heaven and devoured them.
Judgment. Verse 10.
And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
And
That is
so
it.
we get the false prophet and we get the Hasatan out of the way finally once and for all. Now, the second death. Let's look at the second death. Let's look at the second resurrection. The resurrection of the unjust. Those who will not see life. The resurrection to damnation. Read verse 11.
And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Alua, and the books were opened.
Stop. We saw the dead stand. The dead have been resurrected. Right? Resurrection of the unjust. Remember the Messiah said, there shall be a resurrection of the just and the unjust.
Yep.
Resurrection to life and the resurrection to damnation. This is the resurrection of the damned. Verse. Continue.
13. Let me continue.
12.
12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Alua, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works.
Yes.
And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works.
Verse 14.
And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death.
This is when death is finally overcome by the Messiah. Death is finally cast in the lake of fire. All right. And hell, which is the place of the dead, is cast into the lake of fire, because after this, no one will die. Eternal life for the righteous. They lived happily ever after. No sin to bother them again. No Satan to bother them again. Mankind is perfected unto their Alua.
Real quick, Brother B.
Yeah, go ahead.
Upon what is now being presented to us, we at this point, we must know more and understand more that there is nothing at all in us that can beat all these things. We can handle it. All of these things are some heavy stuff, very heavy, and we can do it. So when we know that as long as we allow the Spirit to dwell in us, all we have to do is to keep on obeying the Most High, doing His will. And the Spirit within us is what will do all these things to get us out. That is it. Let's not try to make it on our own, because we cannot. These are some heavy stuff right here. If we deny ourselves, look, when we do that, it is like we just say, hey, I surrender. Most High, have your way in my life. I can do it. That is you trust in yourself, trust in the Most High with your life, knowing that He will never leave you nor forsake you. Everything, just drop everything. Don't find any excuse, because the excuses will not work. Just fully deny yourselves from this wicked world, from the flesh, the lust, and all those things. Just say, you know what? It is over. It is. You cannot say you believe and you're still holding on to yourself. We have to do something like right now, because time is up. Whatever is going on right now to make the transition, we are just not seeing it. If we don't do that, the time will be like, boom, it's ready, I'm here. At that point, we can do nothing. So let's just really, let's get it done. so the Most High can have his way in our life.
Yep. You can turn it up here with the red one. All right, read 14 and 15 again.
14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
All right. Death and hell were cast in the lake of fire. Anyone not found written in the book of life was cast in the lake of fire. Who else is in the lake of fire?
The false prophet and
the devil. So those among us who are accounted sinners, we're going to be the same place where the devil is.
So also, do you see what's going on here also? Yeah. This one just jump out. So the ones who will be cast into the lake of fire with the devil, it is because they were living for the devil.
Yes.
So the ones who will be in the kingdom of the Most High is because they obey and was living for the Most High, even in these difficult times.
Simple.
And because Satan said he want to be like the Most High, he cannot be the Most High. Some still giving to believe in him.
Yes.
Just like when he was in heaven, he was able to get some angels to come on his side.
Yep.
So we know he lost from long time. He lost the fight. And people are still believing in him.
But he's lost the fight, but he's bringing people with him.
Exactly.
Very sad. Now, we're going to look at the book of 2nd Baruch to see what Baruch had prophesied about how those who are in the resurrection would end up. Very interesting. We're going to start from 2nd Baruch, 2nd Baruch 49 to 51. Where should we be?
Let me see if I could.
49.
This kind of fine. I'm gonna try to see how best I could work it.
Oh, you can't see it?
Yeah, it's kind of fine on my side.
All right, let me see. Let me expand it.
Go up some more. Okay, I could try it here.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
49, verse 1. But further, I ask you.
When you see it's a Yahweh site that did the translations. If it's a Yahweh, you put Yahuwah.
Yeah. But further, I ask you, Yahuwah, the mighty one, and I shall ask free unmerited and pardon from you, who created all things. In which shape will the living live in your day? Or how will remain their splendor, which will be after that? Will they perhaps take again this present form, and will they put on the chained members? And will they put on the chained members which are in evil, and by which evil are accomplished? Or will you perhaps change these things which have been in the world, as also the world itself?
So it's a question where everyone will be asking, what is going to happen? Will the people look the same when they are changed? Let's make it a little bigger. Hopefully you can be able to see it. All right. So let's go to the next chapter. Chapter 50.
50.
Go ahead.
And he answered and said to me, listen, Baruch, to this word, and write down in the memory of your heart all that you shall learn. For the earth will surely give back to the dead at that time. It received them now in order to keep them, not changing anything in their form, but as it is received them, so it will give to keep them, not changing anything in their form. But I just realized I read the same verse 2 times.
Let me read
verse 3.
Verse 2. Let me read verse 2. For the earth will surely give back the dead at that time. It receives them now in order to keep them, not changing anything in their form. But as it has received them, so it will give them back. And as I have delivered them to it, so it will raise them. So we see there that there will be no change in their form when they are released. And verse 3 tells us why. Go ahead.
For then it will be necessary to show those who live that the dead are living again, and that those who went away have come back. And
That's
it
it.
will be that when they,
Go ahead.
and it will be that when they have recognized each other, those who know each other at this moment, then my judgment will be strong, and those things which have been spoken of before will come.
All right, so let's see what's coming next. Go ahead.
And it will happen after this day which I appointed is over, that both the shape of those who are found to be guilty, as also the splendor of those who have proved to be righteous, will be changed.
All right.
For the shape of those.
All right. So what he's saying here is that both those who saw them and those who have been resurrected, they will now start to change. All right, bro?
Yep.
Continue.
For the shape of those who now act wickedly will be made more evil than it is now, so that they shall suffer torment. Also, as for the honor and splendor of those who prove to be righteous on account of my Torah, those who possessed intelligence in their life, and those who planted the root of wisdom in their heart, their honor and splendor will then be magnified by transformation, and the shape of their face will be changed into the light of their beauty, so that they may acquire and receive the undying world which is promised to them.
All right.
Scroll up.
All right. So what we see, we were speaking this week about wisdom, and we were speaking about the simple. The simple are those dumb people who just go through routines. And we were speaking of the importance of not being these dumb people. So it's telling you that the reward is for the wise, the reward are for the prudent, is for the prudent. The reward is for those with knowledge and understanding. It is not for those people who go through paces and just not interested in learning and just doing what they are told. All right, continue, bro.
5. When they therefore will see that those over whom they are.
No.
Is not 5?
Verse 4.
4. Therefore, especially they who will then come will be sad, because they despise my Torah, and stop their ears, lest they hear wisdom and receive intelligence.
You see that?
Yep.
Lest they hear wisdom and receive intelligence. It's a learning process. We have to desire learning, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. We cannot be the simple. Last night I was speaking with someone, and I use the analogy of people just going through, just live. How many people do we know? They are just here and they are just content and just living. They don't care about anything else. They just want food, satisfy their flesh, try to get as much money as possible. Go through life. That's it. They don't care. They live, you die. What else? Mm-hmm. These are they who are going to perish. Those who want the Father's wisdom. These are they are going to be sustained. Continue, bro.
When they, therefore, will see that those over whom they are exalted now will then be more exalted and magnified than they, then both these and those will be changed, these into the honor and splendor of Malachim, And those into,
Angels. Malachi means angels, yeah.
okay, and those into startling vision and horrible shapes, or they will,
And they will waste away even more.
right.
Continue.
6, for they will first see and then they will go away to be tormented.
Oh, so the punishment is a weakness. That's how the Most High will start their punishment, by giving them a witness of the resurrection of the dead, by letting them see, hey, you see these people? These people you thought of as nothing? Yes? Here are these people you thought were dead. Here they are. They are something, and you now are being withered away to nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, continue.
Miracles, however, will appear at their own time to those who are saved because of their works and for whom the Torah is now a hope. And intelligence, expectation, and wisdom, a
A
trust.
trust. So many times it's speaking about intelligence and
Yep.
wisdom. And it's not talking about worldly intelligence, going to school
Nope.
and doing it's about the wisdom of the Torah,
Torah.
knowledge. You're saying something?
No, I'm just saying the Torah.
Yes. Verse 8.
For they shall see that world which is now invisible to them, and they will see a time which is now hidden to them. And time will no longer make them older. Wow.
See? Yeah.
For they
Continue.
will live in the heights of that world, and they will be like the Malachim and be equal to the stars. And they will be changed into any shape which they wished, from beauty to loveliness, and from light to the splendor of honor.
Like angels.
Mm.
This is the power of angels. Can be changed into any shape they wish, from beauty to loveliness, from light to the splendor and honor. That is how those who are resurrected from the dead will be. Powerful humans. That is why these people are trying to use the transhumanism in order to make themselves powerful as well, to equate to the promises that are coming for man. Continue.
And also
Yeah, go
we
ahead.
see the reason why these books were taken away from us are hidden.
Yes.
Now I see why.
Yep.
11.
Yeah.
For the extent of kingdom, paradise will be spread out for them, and to them will be shown the beauty of the majesty of the living beings under the throne, as well as all the hosts of the Malachim, whose are angels, those who are held by my word, now lest they show themselves, and those who are withheld by my command, so that they may stand at their places until their coming has arrived.
All right. So these those who are resurrected from the dead will have access to heaven, to see the secrets of heaven. Continue.
And the excellence of the righteous will then be greater than that of the Malachim.
Hey. Surpassing the angels.
Yep. This is what they're hiding, I see. For the first will receive the last, those whom they expected, and the last, those of whom they had heard that they had gone away. Yes. Yep.
Continue.
14. For they have been saved from this world of affliction and have put down the burden of anguishes, because of which men lost their life, and for what have those who were on the earth exchanged their soul. Wow. They exchanged their soul.
Yeah, they exchange their soul for to go back to normal.
This is what we are seeing here. If you did not exchange your soul, all these things, you could be a part of it. But
Yes.
hey, you sell your soul. 16. For once they chose for themselves that time which cannot pass away without affliction. And they chose for themselves that time of which the end is full of lamentations and evil. And they have denied the world that does not make those who comes to it older, and they have rejected the time which causes splendor, so that they are not coming to the splendor of which I spoke to you before.
They went and took a vaccine.
That's it. They sell their soul.
Sell their
Otherwise,
souls.
they could be seeing all these things that they wish they could see.
Yeah, and this is why people, we need to deny ourselves. Why we are so stuck up on this world? We have to do this with this world where we can't let go of this and that. We have no idea what we are doing, because we can easily, many of us who say we are following the way are easily going to be on the other side. Yes? Instead of inheriting the promises, we are going to inherit damnation. And so we have come almost to the end. One set of scriptures left, and that is Daniel's prophecy of the resurrection, to give us another viewpoint, another idea about the resurrection in the end time. This is the last one we'll be doing today. Daniel 12, verse 1. The time of the end. Go ahead.
The time of the end. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of my people.
Thy people.
Thy people.
The children of Yasharal.
Yasharal. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book.
All right, this is our time. This is the time that we are in right now. A time of trouble is coming upon us, upon the whole world, that has never been seen, ever been seen before. But it is at that time that we shall be delivered. We have to understand there are some people will be delivered, some people will be killed. Simple. But there is a hope in that even if you're killed, you still live to the Messiah. Even if you're killed, you will be resurrected to life. All right? So you will be delivered one way or the other. Verse 2.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Somebody's phone is up there. Sister Corrine, could you please mute your mic or something?
Yeah, I'm here. Let me get it.
Okay, it's good now.
Yeah.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Oh, this is happening in our end time. This is what we're telling you. It's very near. It's not far. It's not something you look to for hundreds of years' time. It's within our lifetime, people.
Yep.
Verse 3.
And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever.
And so we see Daniel here agreeing with what Baruch just said, right?
Yep.
The wise. See it again?
Yep.
And the wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. We see here they're comparing it to the stars, etc. The brightness. That's how the wise shall shine. All right?
And we see something here. Go back to, is it 3? Yeah. I see something here which is also something we should look on, especially the ones who are ministering in fact, we are all ministers. So just look at this one carefully. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. and they that turn many to righteousness. Turn many to righteousness. So you see, if we are walking holiness, we shall turn many to righteousness.
Yes.
Our life cannot be the same as the world anymore.
No.
We see all these things. He said, the wise, let's see wisdom, shall that turn many to righteousness. When you go out there and see someone is indulging in the dark part, in love, try to get them to understand that, hey man, look, the scripture is saying, if you don't turn away from those ways, hell shall be your portion. I mean, how can I help you, man? The Most High sent His Son to die for you. Just turn away from those wicked ways. Seek Him. The word says, if you obey Him, He will. He will save you if you obey Him. Even if you die, you shall live again. Hey, look. If you die in sin, you will dead. If you die in righteousness, you shall live. That is a seed. That wasn't a sermon. That is a seed planted. So let's seek to do just that. Turn many to righteousness, because the Most High is the one who will do the increase. Just open your mouth and speak. Don't worry if they will listen or not. Don't worry if they will obey or not. Sow that seed, and the Most High will do the increase.
Yeah. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Okay. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
All right. Knowledge shall be increased. The days of the internet, when knowledge is increased, when everything that you want almost, you can just with the click of the little tap of your finger, you have access to the knowledge. Knowledge shall increase to the time of the end. We are in that time. Verse 5.
Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of those wonders?
All right.
Wonders.
All right. We see something here that it's something that I need to dig into more carefully. There were certain prophecies that I kept away from because having coming up and reading what people are saying, you got confused. And then when you realize that most of these people, when they came out of Christianity, you realize that most of these people that were speaking were Christians. Then they kind of move away from the prophecy because you realize that Christians are seeing things upside down, especially since they are seeing Israel as that those people over there in that land that they call Israel. That I'm not even sure if that is truly Israel. So now we have to be looking at the prophecies once again. And this one in Daniel, we're going to see coming up. It has implications for us today with this thing that is happening. Continue, please.
Verse 7, all right.
Yeah.
And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times and a half, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished.
All right. So we have this similar prophecy in Revelation 13 that came to my mind a while ago. Revelation 13 tells us in about 8. No. Verse 7. Read verse 7, please.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, and tongues, and nations.
All right. Let's go back again. It was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And this is speaking about over here. It is speaking about, where were we? 7?
Yep.
It was speaking
7.
about him scattering the power of the holy people. And he told you a time frame that it would take him to scatter the holy people. And it is a time, times, and a half. So this is 1 year, a time, times 2 year, 2 years and a half year. So this is 3.5 years that it will take to accomplish, to scatter the power of the holy people. And if we go back to Revelation 13, it tells you how much time this beast that is giving this mark will reign. Read verse 5, please.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months.
40 and 2 months is time, times and a half time, 3.5 years.
Wow.
So the beast shall reign for 3.5 years, and in Daniel it tells you in 3.5 years it will take him to scatter the power of the holy people. All these things shall be finished. So I'm telling people, it's things that are thinking, oh, we're going back to normal. We're going to back. No, the age is finished. You have 3.5 years to play with. That's the when the 3.5 years started. I don't know. Yeah, I've not yet figured out. And I know it is here.
What happened, what I'm seeing, Brother B,
yes,
people don't know where we are now in scriptures. And that is why we are seeing people having doubts, because some might say, I've been seeing this scripture for the past 25 years.
Yes.
And there are so many 3 years or 3.5 years past. But those times, maybe they were in, let's say, 3/4 of the Bible. So that is why it is very important to know where are we now. When we see all these signs and match up these signs with the scripture, you can have a better understand, oh, this is now in Revelation, because all these things are here taking place right now.
Yes.
And then you can better calculate. Even if you're not on point, you can be very close.
Yes.
And say, yes, this is it.
And this is why I didn't pay much attention to it, because the same thing as you just said, I didn't believe that we were there as yet. So I didn't even bother to study. But now I'm realizing where we are. Then all of these scriptures now have suddenly come to life. Continue verse 8. We're going to show you the 3.5 years again, how important it is. Read verse
8. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my master, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none. Can you please mute your mic? Okay.
And none of the wicked.
And let me go back and find
it. You can't see it yet. I'm just trying to speak.
Just come back.
Okay.
I was at verse what?
10.
Let me start and go over. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly. And none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand.
But the who?
The wise.
Yesterday we did wisdom. The importance of wisdom on Just a Word Radio. No coincidence here. I didn't even plan all of these scriptures. Wisdom. Wisdom. The fear of Allah is the beginning of wisdom. You have to fear Yahuwah first of all in this end time and stop fearing man. All right? The wicked shall do wickedly and the wise shall understand, but the wicked shall not understand. That is why these people cannot understand what we're saying to them. Verse 11.
11. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up there shall be 1,290 days.
All right, let's do something here. You see this daily sacrifice, the daily sacrifice, I'm trying to figure out what it would mean today. But this abomination that make it desolate, somebody will have to come real good to convince me that this is not speaking about this vax that they are taking.
Confirmation, sir. I just was going to say to you.
You would have to come real good The abomination. Let's go to the meaning of the words. Abomination. Where is it? Where was I? 10?
I think 11.
Oh, abomination.
That make it.
We know what abomination means, but let's just get it. It's from the Hebrew shikutz. Disgusting. That is filthy, especially idolatrous and idol, abominable, filthy, idolation, detestable thing. All of these things describe this thing that they're taking in their bodies. It's idolatry. It's idolatry that is causing them to take this thing. Everybody, they want to do this, they want to do that, they want to do that. Money, money, money. How am I going to work? I need to travel. Idolatry. Filthy. Where's the other one? Desolate. Desolate is from the Hebrew shamim. To stun, to grow numb, that is devastate, or figuratively stupefy. Make amaze, both usually in a passive sense. Make amaze, be astonished. Bring into, bring unto, lay, lie, make, desolate. You make yourself desolate when you take this gene editing substance that is going to alter your DNA, that is going to, who's that? Could you mute your mic, please? Yeah. Bring into desolation, bring unto desolation, lay desolate, lie desolate, make desolate. Be destitute, destroy self.
That is it.
Lay, lie, make waste. Wonder. People, you'll have to come good and tell me that this abomination that make it desolate is not this thing that it's speaking about. Because let's see what it's saying. 1,290 days it's going to be for. 1,290 days. Somebody have a calculator? How much? Let me see something. I'm going to show you something. 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waited. The next verse, blessed is he that waited and come up to the 1,305 and 30 days. So this is 1,035. 1,335 in verse 12 minus 1,290 in verse 5. That's 45 days. 1,290, let's see how much of a year, how many, if you divide it by 12. No, how do you do it now? So I'm thinking of this 45, this difference here of 45 days. I'm wondering if it is symbolic of months. Because the 45 here is similar to the 42, which is the 3.5 years that the beast has. All right? Some things that need more studying, but I'm throwing this thing out. 1,290 days was also mentioned somewhere else with this. I think it has to do with the beast as well. Let me check if I can find it. I'm doing some live search here, and I am what I should have been well, it would take up too much time for me to do this.
Brother B.
Yeah.
Try if you could divide it by the 365 days or 364 and see what you get.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of in my mind as I want to do it quickly so I can concentrate as good. 365. 3.5 years. 3.53 years. It's same 3.5 years. Again. So you see, if we dig into this thing, this 3.5 years is very, very, and the Great Tribulation should be 3.5 years. Everything is 3.5 years in the end.
So, Brother B, also, let's look back again on Daniel 12, verse 11, and match it up with what is going on presently, even right now.
Yeah.
And from the time that, which time? The time that the daily sacrifice. So what we are seeing taking place, every day is a sacrifice of them going for the vac.
Yeah. So the daily sacrifice has been taken away because we have a record here in the book of Maccabees where the altar was profaned when Antiochus Epiphanes sacrificed a pig on the altar. This is very, very important. The abomination of desolation. Remember that prophecy keeps repeating itself. So if you know how prophecy was fulfilled back then, you can understand what it means. It is a desolation of the temple's altar that caused the abomination of desolation in the time of Antiochus Epiphanes when he took over Jerusalem, when the Greeks took over Jerusalem. Now, the abomination of desolation is again going to be a profanation of the temple of the Most High. But what does it say in 1 Corinthians 6:19, Wayne? Yeah, what does it say in 1 Corinthians 6:19?
1 Corinthians 6:19. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of Alua, and ye are not your own.
All right, so what is that saying? The abomination of desolation the abomination that make it desolate is going to be in our
temple.
And where is our temple?
Our body is the temple of the Most High.
All right, no one can tell me that this is not talking about this thing that is happening here. Anyway, probably you'll need to look into it into detail another time because time is going. So that's what time is it now? 2.5 hours. Yeah. So time is going and we might probably have to dig into more details into this to set it up and lay it out more properly to show how this is being fulfilled. All right. Okay, so hopefully we will dig more deeply into that. All right. So where are we? Where are we? Where are we?
You just did 12.
Yeah. So I'm at the end of what we were presenting here today. Thanks to Brother Wayne, my co-presenter, my co-host, Brother Clevan Doheny, who needs a Hebrew name. I hate calling those Babylonian names. Who need a Hebrew name?
Most I will be done.
Yeah, thank you. You did very, very, very well today, Brother Clevan. And just like before Brother El Pedro runs away. El Pedro, where are you?
Man, am I the runaway child?
It seems so. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's really enlightening. And just want to thank the Most High for this teaching because it brings us to understanding the importance of wisdom. The beginning of wisdom is to fear Yahuwah. And people have not come to really grasp this. When you are in the world or in Christianity, wisdom is when you can steal good and be rich. That's called wisdom. Looking at the scriptures as they are, Christianity, people do not believe in resurrection. They believe in going to glory. You know, this is the issue that we have with them. When somebody dies in Christianity, they say, well, the Lord has taken so and so, it's gone to glory. and thus invalidating the word resurrection. So if someone is taken to glory, that means there will be no resurrection. These words are spoken every time in Christianity. We need to prepare ourselves. We need to prepare ourselves in that Ruach HaKodesh. May abide in us, guide us, lead us to all truth, so that every time we are awake and every time we are asleep consciously, we know and understand who we are, to whom do we belong, in obedience to the scriptures, or else we shall not see the light of the day. We need to fight hard, as Brother Wayne says. We need to say, Father, take up our every being, our very being, so that you may guide and lead us. We need to be able to say to ourselves, we give up, we do not depend on anything around us or anybody for that matter, but yes, on Yahuwah himself through Yahusha HaMashiach. It is frightening in the world today when you see the number of people that deny the truth. The name of Yahusha has come at this time of the end as a testimony, the very testimony that is going to judge the unbelievers. The name of Yahuwah has come as a testimony against them that do not believe. Believing meaning obedience. We therefore need to submit ourselves. As Brother Wayne's slogan, deny self, as it is written. Deny ourselves. This may seem as a story told, but is life, is truth. We need to be able to know that we are privileged and we have a greater responsibility to save ourselves and those around us and many others, so that we may attain to life. Let us stay focused, because the time is short. You see, when we speak of time, we say, okay, well, I'm only 49 years old, I'm only 25 years old, I still have time. We don't have time, because we do not know when is our life going to end. By the time our life ends, we have to have been prepared for resurrection, for the just. We need to be found in justice, in righteousness, by the time our life ends. So therefore, my brethren, let us hold fast to the truth and know that he who promised shall fulfill his word. Hallelujah.
Yada Yahuwah. All praises. All praises. Brother Wayne.
Still, shalom, everyone.
Yeah.
Shalom, shalom.
Yeah, let us just keep pushing. There is one way I know for a fact that if we try it, it will work, and we would be likely to be in the kingdom of the Most High. If we are prepared to lose our life for the sake of righteousness, if we can do that, that is simply saying that we are expecting something bigger and better. And if we are expecting something bigger and better, that will become our priority. But if we still are fearful of dying, don't want to die, it is saying you love this world. You still want to spend some more time in this wicked world. For the past few months, I'm really, and in fact, seeking to die in righteousness. You know, I don't want to spend an extra day in this world. I want to live right on time in righteousness. So let's not fear this world and what this world can do. When I go on the street, whenever time, I don't spend more time on the street, like a few days or so. I might go on the street and stuff like that. And people would inquire, why am I back home? And I explain to them, and they look at me like I'm crazy. they ask me, what plan do you have to work? Do you have a business here? Some who know me from before say, are you going back in photography? I said, I don't have a plan. They said, no. And they said, no, God work with who have a plan. And I still try to make them understand that, hey, my plan is to trust in the Most High. That is my plan. If I trust him, his plan will come out in my life. And they still will not understand. So I just have to understand for them that because the God of this world blind their minds, they cannot see nor comprehend with spiritual things. Because everything is pointing to the same things I'm walking away from. The very same thing. They just cannot comprehend. So we must at this point today prepare to walk away, leave everything in this world, everything, the jobs, the family, whatever it is, we have to be prepared because we have to give an account for how we live our life. Not the way our family live their life, but how we or you live your life. Today's scriptures, it brings out a lot. And if we use the scriptures for what they are meant for, we would be long time denying ourselves because these are some heavy stuff and we can't handle it. So we must allow the Holy Spirit to just take over, lead us while we follow, because it is real and time is up. We just don't know the exact time for the transition, but time is really up. Now is the time to look around you and say, you know what, mama, papa, husband, wife, I'm going to drop everything. And even if it don't happen in the 3.5 years, I'm still going to continue. Because the main reason for this is the love I have for my Father who art in heaven. And because that love is real, even if it is 10 years, you will still wait patiently. Because it is happening through the love and not through the fear of dying. So let us let the love of the Most High just keep on living in us and through us, so someone else might see the love within you and want to know who the Most High is. Just living in His love can be your testimony and your ways of ministering to someone who will come to know who the Most High is. So, family group, I'm recommending that we all spend more time in the secret place of the Most High. Spend more time in the Torah. Spend more time because it is there. But if we do not read, we will not see them or understand. We come here each week. Brother Brian might teach us something, but he will not teach us everything. What do you do on those days we are not on just a word? What do you do with those days? Do you waste those time? Do you go about your business? It should be a continuation. Every day, Sabbath to Sabbath, every single day, our life should be walking holiness, still trusting in the Most High in all things, every single thing. Everything in this body must be saying, I'm trusting you, Father. I'm obeying you. When the enemy come upon us, it should be us reaping the benefit from living holy. Father, the enemy is here on me. The Most High will just, hey, okay, son, good job. You call on me. This is the whole intention. So let's look to the Most High in all things. The enemy is there for a job. Let him do his job. Because if we focus on the enemy's job, just seeing what he's doing can knock us out. So let us deny ourselves, get ready and stay ready, and just live and love until that time. I rest my case for now.
All right, bro.
Hallelujah. Can I say something, Brother B?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Taking Brother Wayne's words, I really am grateful to Yahweh for his courage, having left where he was, where people actually believe is the land of success. For the past couple of weeks, I'm in struggle here because I'm actually closing. I am closing my work, my surgery. I'm at loggerheads with people who are patients. I already spoke to my family that, you know, I need to wake up, not to look for money. I need to wake up and speak the word, study the word. I'm gotten tired of every day I wake up, and I have to make sure there is money. Money is forever money. Now it's time to get rid of everything and submit ourselves to the will of the Father. So what Brother Wayne has done, it's actually amazing. It's what is in my heart. I'm closing. As I was actually relaxing here, somebody called me today and said, look, we need to speak because his parents, who are part of the government here, they been calling, they want attention, medical attention. And I sort of, run away. Because I feel it is in my spirit that I have to close. I deem those who do the work of their hands as blessed, those who use just their hands in order to make their living. For us who use what you call science or maybe intelligence, you are bound to falter so much. And that does not make me feel good. You know, when you treat a patient and something goes wrong, how do you feel? Now, I am also closing. Brother Wayne, I'm following suit. Within the next 2 or 3 weeks, don't ever call me to deal with your headache. We just speak the word. I'm trying to encourage somebody else that if ever there's anything that hinders you from doing the will of the Father, please let us put this aside, knowing that the time is now. Our time is actually now, whereby we've come to know the truth, so that we may practice this, apply this in our lives, so that when we go, we know exactly that we're going in his hands, into his hands. Yeah, thank you once again. Thank you.
Brother B, just real quick, just to speak to us that like time is really up. And if we are saying that we are taking ourselves out of this wicked system, how dare we to leave our loved ones, our children in their schools? Because by now we have to know that the school system is tied to the Babylon system, the world system. And also what I did, I took my children out of school and I'm teaching them the Torah. I come under heavy criticism, but these are what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a lot more too, but I'm ready to take on that which they're going to say about me because it is deep. And I wish I could open someone and place it within you, but I can't do that. But it is deep. We have to start something, start right now. We got to start something. And like I said, last night we have some time together as a family. And my 3 daughters and a cousin of mine, same age group. And we get together, I give them verses to read and to come back and exhort on them. And they even speak the word, the name, Yahuwah Aloha. And when I realize that they are speaking the word without shame, that is saying, if we continue to teach them the word, what we teach them will come out. And when they grow up, they may not depart. So family, what the Most High did not make your children with, the school system cannot give it to them. What the Most High did make them with, the school cannot take it. So we have to put what we believe in action. So just know that many or all of them will dislike your idea, dislike what you're doing, dislike what you're obeying. But just be prepared because the world cannot comprehend with spiritual movement. All right?
All right. All praises to the Most High. And I just like to add a little thing because what struck me in all that we're doing is the wisdom, the emphasis on wisdom, the emphasis on those who are wise, who will be those who inherit eternal life. And that brought me back to a scripture that has been coming back over and over again for the past couple of weeks. Let me go there to end before I close off. Mishlei 1:20. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. How long? The time is over for those who love simplicity. If you're not seeking wisdom now, I think the time is even up for even seeking it, but never too late. If you're not seeking wisdom now, you're in problem. How long will you love simplicity? And scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Let wisdom reprove you. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. If you just turn and seek wisdom and seek Yahuwah with all your heart, he will give his wisdom unto you. But if you don't respond, then because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded, but ye have set at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahuwah. They would none of my counsel. They despised my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. Hearken unto wisdom, and you will dwell safely and be quiet from fear of evil. As we see ourselves in these days, with this abomination of desolation, with this mark of the beast vax, yes, wisdom is needed. The simple ones are being taken away. The simple ones who don't even care. When you tell them about it, oh, have you ever asked them if they have studied anything about it? Oh, I don't need to study anything about it. Oh, I don't need to do it. I trust science. I this and I that. How long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? Destruction is upon you and at your doorsteps. All right. This is Kazak Eliyahu Yasharal here for Just a Word. Thank you for partaking today. Thank you for listening to our weekly teaching. Please like if you like, share if you care, and comment. We would appreciate your comments as well. That helps your activity, by the way, helps the algorithms. They help our video to be shared more on YouTube. The more activity that is on it, the more it is likely to be seen. All right. If you have not yet done so, please subscribe to our channel. All right. So, thank you once again. And until next time, shalom.